Next article. Are they purposely killing the Gulf? We're going to look at that today. This is by a guy named William Spear. It's from 5/17 of this year. The private foreign international monetary banking cartel controls its puppets in Washington as it controls its oil company executives. And everything the cartel does is anti-life. I think that's something that's very important to understand about a lot of subjects that we talk about. Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy, right? It's anti-life. Satan is anti-life. The people at the very top of the food chain, whether you want to refer to them as the elitists or the Bilderbergs or the CFR or the Illuminati, some people say they're all Zionists, some people say it's all about the Vatican. So, there's a lot of different, I think it's one big group effort with Satan at the head. I don't tend to focus on any one particular group and say, it's just about that. You know what it's just about? It's just about Satan and his fallen angels influencing humanity. And those that have sold their souls to the devil, and I mean that literally. And a lot of times it's generational when it comes to that. It's bloodline, generational Luciferianism, which is really going to be the coming essence of the religious system that we're moving into in the New World Order, Theosophy. And this is why I like that Age of Aquarius DVD that just came out so much. Because he really gets into that. He really ties everything together. I mean, man, Keith really did his homework for that. Really did an excellent job on this, exposing it. Let's go further. And everything the cartel does is anti-life. There are absolutely no exceptions. And their pretended Gulf oil cleanup is a glaring case in point. Now, I felt this from the moment this happened, that I saw them dragging their feet. I said, they're doing it on purpose. They're doing this on purpose. Order out of chaos. They're bringing the order they want out of the chaos they're creating. And at the same time, they're going to kill, untold sea life doing this. And who knows how many people as well. And destroy a lot of the economy, most likely, when this is all said and done. Instead of cleaning up the unprecedented catastrophe created by the cartel's megacorporations, Halliburton, Transocean, and British Petroleum, these very same companies are purposely killing the Gulf of Mexico under the pretense of cleaning it up. See, they say they're doing one thing, but they're actually doing the exact opposite. Instead of using safe, non-toxic ways to gather up the rogue oil gushing from their incompetence or planned cataclysm, which is what I believe it was, the private cartel is using an extremely toxic chemical dispersant with the approval of the Obama administration. The thing that I wondered about this from the very beginning, the first thought that ever came into my head is that once this happened, and once this oil started coming to the surface, because oil is lighter than water, now what the dispersant is doing is causing most of the oil to sink now, and we're going to look at that. But if they wanted to really get on it quick, and I believe they've got the technology to cap this thing, I think it's all being suppressed. I believe we could have capped that thing short order. But it was planned, so they don't have any reason or desire to cap it. Why didn't they just light it on fire? It's going to burn off. And at that point, whatever oil is coming to the surface is going to burn off. I don't care how much oil is coming to the surface. That is going to burn off. Fire is a very aggressive thing. If you've ever seen one burn, as long as there's fuel there, it's going to burn. Wouldn't that have been a real quick, granted, I understand there's going to be some pollution created from burning the oil, but it's better than the oil getting all into the ocean systems and killing all the animal life and killing the livelihoods of a lot of people and whatever the consequences are going to be. They could have had it right there contained, because as the oil came to the surface, it's going to be burned up. Now maybe I'm oversimplifying things, but to me that seemed like a reasonable thing to do right from the very first day. What were they going to do? Save the oil rig? The oil rig had already sunk into the ocean or whatever. So I didn't buy this from day one. I knew they were doing this on purpose, and we're going to prove that today. Alan Levine, the head of the Louisiana Department of Health and Hospitals, said, quote, "We don't have any idea or evidence behind the use of these chemicals in the water. We're now basically using one of the richest ecosystems in the world as a laboratory." So it makes sense to me. No, don't burn it. Don't try to use safe methods. Let's use a really, really toxic chemical dispersant. And I'm thinking, well, what about the side effects from that? Now you've got two toxic things in the water. You've got millions of gallons of crude oil spewing out from the bottom of the ocean, and now we're going to spray this dispersant on via planes, which is going to be more chemicals in the water, and it's going to actually cause the oil to sink. And we're going to look at that. This is so horrific, what is going on. But again, it's being pretty much suppressed in the news as what their true intentions are and what's really going on. As reported by Britain's Telegraph, the Louisiana State Secretary of the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, Robert Barham, reported, quote, "We're very disappointed in their," meaning the EPA and the oil company executives' approach. Federal procedures call for a consensus between federal authorities, the responsible party, and the states involved. When we met and expressed our concerns over the use of dispersants, apparently they decided to go without us. And go they did. Obama's Environmental Protection Agency allowed BP Petroleum to turn our Gulf of Mexico into a toxic testing ground instead of removing the crude oil. British Petroleum, and again, they did talk about burning. I think it was like 2 or 3 days into it. I'm thinking, why aren't they burning this? Why aren't they burning it? It's getting closer to shore. Oh, they can't. It's too many waves. Seas are too rough. Well, once it gets to shore, I mean, you know, now it's already into the swamps in the outer Louisiana. It's already in. I mean, they show these pictures. It's just horrific. No, they wouldn't have wanted to have burned it before it got there. No, we can't do that. That's not an option. They would have just done it right off the bat. Even if the thing's spewing out oil, they're going to get rid of a lot of it just from that. But again, no, they can't do that because this is all by design. Every bit of it. They really are that wicked, and they're more wicked than we can even imagine. We can't conceive, as a born-again Christian, you really shouldn't be able to conceive how wicked these people are, unless God saved you out of something like that. I mean, it's hard to conceive how the evil that we're talking about here. British Petroleum has even refused to use their own oil tankers lying in the Gulf to suck up most of the runaway oil and possibly salvage it for sale later, as was done after the Saudi oil spill of the 1990s. That method was so successful, it vacuumed up 85% of the renegade oil. No, we can't do that. No. This is such a scam. I don't tell you this stuff so that we can sit around and wring our hands about it. I am telling you this so that you get on your knees and whatever the Lord convicts you to do, pray,